Hi, friends. Welcome to Enlightened World Network. We're here for the new month numerology, and it is March. Here with Michele Landers. She is EWN's very favorite numerologist, and we can't wait to see what March of 2023 has in store. Thanks, Michele, for being here.
Thank you, Ruth. Always, always, always a pleasure. And you know how much I love you, WN, and all the wonderful things you're doing. And God bless you for that, because we certainly need it. And especially this month, turn into EWN to get some peace and to get some guidance and to get some support. It's a wonderful place where you'll find people of like-minded people who are interested in living a more positive and uplifting life. So let's get on with the numerology and the astrology. So it seems that right this month for March, kind of fasten your seatbelt. We've arrived at this kind of pivotal point in more than one way. Pluto changes signs briefly, and I'll explain that. Saturn changes for quite a while. Pluto, I'll just give you a little information about Pluto and Saturn were in Capricorn, and they changed signs back at the beginning of COVID. So these are two pretty powerful planets. So at the beginning of COVID, they had changed signs. So now these two planets are moving on and it's one of the planets. It's an end of a very long cycle, but let's get into it a little bit more. It seems that all the psychics and astrologers and numerologists, we all agree that March is an enormous month energetically. And this is heightened energy, and this energy is gaining momentum, and it will gain even more momentum over the next few months. And we're all continuing to experience these huge shifts in consciousness if you're open to it, especially those of us who are attuned to that higher vibration. You can allow it in, and believe me, you will get information just pouring in if you're open to it. So some people ask, well, how do I attune myself to these higher vibrations? And I'll touch upon that at the end of the show. I do have a couple of suggestions. So again, March is a huge month. Planets are on overdrive. And I wanted to mention, because everything fits together. When I do the monthly vibrations, I'm isolating it, but everything strings together. The whole world, everything that we do, it all strings together. So as a reminder, when we left the 1900s and entered into the 2000s, the vibrations changed significantly, because the 1900s, 9 and 1 is 1. In numerology, 1 is a very masculine energy. So it was a masculine era of competition. And then in the 2000s, we entered into a very feminine era of cooperation and diplomacy. And you might be scratching your head saying, oh, really? Where is that? But if you look at the big picture, you'll realize that women have had more of a voice than they ever have and when this decade started, when this era started. So yay for women. We have a voice, we have something to say, and I do believe that more and more our voices being heard, people are paying attention, more women are in office. So all of that is really good. So let's get back to March. Standing alone, March is what? The number 3. The universal year number is 7. 2023 equals 7. And so when we add 3 to 7, we arrive at the number 10. When we add 1 and 0 together, we arrive at the number 1. So we have the numbers 3, we have the number 7, we have 10, we have 1 to interpret for March. So except for the number 3, the number 7, 10, and 1 are all very much introverted alone number. So what does that mean? Well, the overall vibration we know for the year is 7. And when you add 7, when you understand 7, you know that the number 7 can be, among other things, and always remember in these forecasts, there is the positive side, which we're always trying to strive towards and embrace. And then we have the challenging sides of the numbers. And it's like that with everything. It's like that with the planets. It's like that with our personalities. It's like that with Earth. There's a yin and yang always. So we always want to strive for the positive energy of whatever it is that we're engaged with. So 7, among other things, it can be reclusive, suspicious, analytical, secretive, but very importantly, this beautiful number 7 of the year is the teacher, especially of spiritual principles. And when that energy of the 7 is channeled in a positive way, it's spiritually enlightening. So all year long, we have this push-pull of both the positive and the challenging aspects of the 7. But I can tell you all, as more of you latch on or tune in to that positive energy of the 7, things change for the positive. And we bring out all of this positive energy of the number 7. And this year it is focusing on the spiritual. So in the month of March, one of the first numbers we should look at is 10. And the number 10 is both the beginning and the end. And the number 1, that is beginnings. So although the 7 and the 1 are numbers that standing alone are about self, the number 7 urges us to explore our spiritual self and become more introspective. And I think probably a lot of people in the month of March are going to feel that way. So the number 1 is more about what can I get? And it is more of an outward action number. So there's a little bit of a conflict there, which I think is going to be evident this entire month. And the number 7 resonates more with what we can get. And also, again, which keeps coming up, water. Astrologically, there is also this heavy emphasis on water and Neptune, the quality of water, its structure, going to the depths of the ocean and things happening beneath the surface. Now, I mean that both literally in the sense of, yeah, what's going on in the oceans underneath. I think we're going to discover some solutions, some new things. Just exploring the oceans can bring us a lot of awareness. And that is, again, in the literal sense, building underwater, building over water. A lot of this stuff is all coming, no pun intended, to the surface. Now, figuratively, again, there are things going on beneath the surface, and you have to be quite a detective to kind of sniff all that out. But some of it will come to the surface that it'll be available for all people, and there'll probably be a lot of aha moments. So we're going to experience bouts of enlightening and positive news or events. And then we have the number 1, which is about new beginnings, which can be, very positive. But it also brings in that element of selfish acts on the part of some people and leaders. Now, the number 10 comes into play here, and that's with the tarot, because I always like to incorporate not just astrology, but tarot, the numbers. And the tarot, the 10th card of the tarot is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is about karma, and it reminds us of what goes around comes around, which is just telling us that this is a month of new beginnings, but also completion. So how is that going to play out? When we factor in the number 3 of March, well, it's a lot of words. a lot of communication, a lot of speaking out, a lot of talking heads, a lot of people with that one energy vying for position. So people might be feeling victimized or angry or confused. It's a super powerful month of a lot of numerological, astrological energy just pulsating. So I've noticed that a lot of people are feeling it, and some of this is manifesting as physical physical illnesses. I didn't really want to use the word illness, but I can't think of anything else right now. So I see it's just manifesting as physical whatever and unusual. I have like 2 or 3 people that I know that are, that have these unusual symptoms, and the doctors aren't sure what that means. So I do believe a lot of this has to do with the downloads we're receiving. So one of the things, a very nice transit is today, March 1st, we have a very positive transit of Venus and Jupiter. Two very, Venus is love, Jupiter is expansion. So that's a really nice conjunction. And it's a very positive sign and a great, really great vibration. So today, March 1st, take advantage of that and fill yourself with love, and invite all of that Jupiter expansive and Venus love energy, invite that in. So one of the things I want to talk about too is the full moon in Virgo on March 7th. So most of us already know the full moon is what? About releasing. And what about Virgo? Well, one aspect of Virgo is purification. And I love that because I feel like it gives us even more support in letting go of the things we don't need. And Virgo energy is also very exacting. It's a bit of a perfectionist. So that energy can also manifest, though, about hearing about people being like nitpicky in this. So when I talk about the full moon, though, being on the 7th, you've got a couple of days before, a couple of days after that, that energy is still very present. So it is an important, powerful transit because it is an indication and sets the stage of this releasing and hopefully purifying energy that's present over the remainder of the year. And that's really important for us to know because we're letting go, we're shedding a lot of negative energy. So the full moon always shines a light on what is no longer needed, no longer useful, what needs to come to the surface. And gosh, I know I keep repeating myself, but this is another theme that runs through the entire year, a big theme of truth being revealed. So again, we're probably going to hear of some more truth involving health, involving medicine, and it's might have something to do with COVID and maybe the mutations of COVID, but it just might have to do with that as well. So it is about truth being revealed. Now, on the 8th, we have Saturn entering Pisces. Now, we have to understand what the planets and what the signs are all about to understand how is that going to manifest. So Saturn is structure. Saturn is the taskmaster. It sets limits. It's about tradition. It's about rules. It's about regulation. So Saturn is grounding. It's organization. And Pisces is totally unstructured and dreamy and psychic and again, watery. So Pisces doesn't like structure. Well, it doesn't like Saturn very much. So Pisces will also bring up issues with blood and the immune system. And this will fall into that category that I was talking about of health and some things being revealed and possibly, challenges or discussions or revelations about blood, the immune system, health. It has a lot to do with water again. And again, structures on and underwater. It can also represent dissolution of things. And who knows, it could even be finally, maybe we're beginning to break down those societal boundaries that we have and realize that we're all one. Now, the really great news about this, and gosh, I hope this manifests in a big way, or even a little way. I don't care. I'll take it anyway. This transit can bring grounding. Remember, Saturn is grounding of everything of this, and I will use quote marks, this woo-woo, supposedly woo-woo area. It's going to bring, and it should bring, validation to those areas, more understanding of things like, and we'll start at the top where most people are on board with chiropractic. And a lot of people are on board with acupuncture. And a lot of people are on board with, different types of alternative medicines. But I think this is going to extend even further, excuse me, to more belief in the spiritual practices and astrology and numerology and quantum physics and manifestation. I think there's going to be a light that will shine on these areas because Pisces is saying, yes, yes, these things are true. It's dreamy. Pisces is dreamy and psychic. And Saturn brings, I think it would bring validation to it because it is structural. So, well, here's something interesting. AA was founded during the, and now for those of you who don't know what AA is, it's Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's also a very spiritual program. Excuse me. So while Saturn was in Pisces, AA was founded. So that gives you just a little insight on how the transits can affect things that have a major effect on the world. I also discovered another interesting transit that will occur on March 12th as Mars enters Gemini, and it stays there until May 10th. And that's going to be a lot of issues or emphasis with China, issues concerning freedom of speech, issues concerning corruption, corruption with media, but a lot of things going on with China. So you could just put that aside, kind of save that and see where that goes. And then on March 20th, we have the vernal equinox, and it's the beginning of spring. And I love that time of the year. I love when the seasons change because it makes me feel like there's another new energy coming in. It's transitional. And spring, especially, is about growth and renewal. It represents a new day. It's the dawn. It's dawn in the wheel of the year astrologically. And it's a wonderful, wonderful time to get really clear on what it is you want to birth in your life. You know, there are more ways to give birth than just a physical human being. Give birth to new creative ideas. March 20th is a wonderful day to do a ritual. And I just want to mention that, rituals go way back to the beginning of time. We use rituals to celebrate and acknowledge and revere passages in our lives. So I don't know. I think it's a good idea. Maybe we should do a ritual on that day. And yeah, I think that's a great idea. So rituals and the commonality of rituals are found in all religions. How some believe that their religion is one religion, but believe me, a little investigation, and you'll find that all religions share so many common beliefs and rituals. So it's a great, great day to do a ritual. Now, here's a big, big news astrologically, and that happens on March 23rd. Pluto, which is the god of the underworld and the planet of death and rebirth, but that shouldn't be scary. Pluto moves out of Capricorn and into the very humanitarian sign of Aquarius. This is really an astronomical event because Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008, and we all can pretty much remember what happened then, right? So I'm only touching on it right now. I want to bring it to the forefront because it's only going to be in Aquarius from March 23rd to June 11th. However, and this is the big however, even though it's just a short stint, and we should definitely feel or see or experience that power of Pluto in Aquarius and its emphasis on humanity. However, it's going to like teeter-totter back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius for most of the year. But guess what? It's going to be stationed uninterrupted in Aquarius on January 21st, 2024 for, and this is a drum roll, 20 years. So I'm happy about that. I'm an Aquarian and I'm interested to see how Pluto's going to affect, my sign with personally as well, and all you Aquarians out there. So Aquarius is about technology. It's about the mind. It's forward moving. It's progressive. So what we can expect without a doubt is huge leaps in technology and science. AI is going to amaze us, but also probably shock us. Medically, we can witness a lot of non-invasive healing of the body. And that's another area where, and I guess that would fall into the realm. I think medically can fall into non-invasive treatments that heal the body, but also we're talking about hands-on healing, remote healing, all of that. Also about somehow something's going to come up. Now that may not be in March to June, but remember, this is a 20-year cycle. It's going to also address issues of immortality, the mystery of quantum physics and parallel universes. So this is pretty big. Historically, examples of Pluto and Aquarius would be England broke away from the church in 1532 to 1552, the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the writing of the Declaration of Independence. So freedom of the people is a huge, important energy of Pluto and Aquarius. So if you take nothing away from this video today, take that away, have hope. So that's just the tip of the iceberg, because there is a lot more to talk about this transit. And again, according to most astrologers, this is really revolutionary. It'll bring societal changes, more freedom. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be all fun and games, but the indication is that we are reaching a very critical point in our existence here on Earth. And a lot of changes are going to be taking place, but we'll talk about that more each month. Okay, so let's move on to March 26th. Mars is going into Pisces. So anything that you've been undecided about is going to bring more clarity. That's the end of March. And in March, we can expect this radical changes, especially in the government. This is the time that, again, that Saturn will transit over the United States natal moon. And that's been, I've mentioned that more than once. And so it's going to bring a lot of things up to the surface. Okay. There's also some energy around President Biden, Kamala. I'm not quite sure about that. I'm not really entirely clear what that's going to bring up, but something that's important. So what I do want to say, I want to reference back to what I was talking about, like how do you tune in to this? So the overall message for us as individuals this month is to be reflective, be willing to change, look at your habitual ways of doing things. It's time to change. Look at your relationships. Look at your eating habits, your health habits. I know that's interesting for me because that a lot of that has just come up for me as well, not even realizing, oh yeah, right, that's part of the energy. What in your life needs to be cleansed and cleared? This is really, really, really important. What needs an overhaul? What needs upgrading? What new creative ideas do you have? It's time to think outside the box. It's a month to begin anew. I would strongly suggest, explore new areas, new things. Watch your communication, watch how you say things, be very cognizant of the words that are coming out of your mouth. And know that the energy this month, on one hand, it can be overwhelming, it can be at times confusing. So really make sure that you ground yourself, and grounding yourself is doing anything, either Tai Chi or meditation, walk outside barefoot, even in the snow. I know it might be a little chilly for those people in the snow, but ground yourself. Use any of the tools that you have in your metaphysical tool chest to help you, whether that is feng shui or Tai Chi, yoga, chanting. Meditation is a must to quiet your mind, and do anything that raises your vibration. Maybe there's something you wanted to do years ago, or you did years ago, and you abandoned. Now is the time to resurrect that. Find something that gives you joy, anything that raises your vibration. So we have a lot of changes coming, some challenging, some very positive. We have to be patient, stay centered, stay grounded, stay in your heart. And I will see you all in April. So thank you for listening.
Wow, Michele. I've got a lot of notes here. I loved when you said to be reflective and willing to change and to look at habitualistic patterns. Because as you were talking, I was asking just for some clarity on what could I bring up and add to this. And what I heard was you had said, let go of what you don't need.
Correct.
And what the angels kind of whispered in my ear was to don't take on even more. So just be aware of shopping. What are your shopping habits? You know, is it important to you that you have all kinds of candles or, you know, all different kinds of towels or whatever, but pay attention to what you're bringing into your home, because shortly you will be taking all that out of your home. So stop yourself. And as you're going to go, for some reason, they're going with the shopping with me right now. But as you're at the store, even at the grocery store, stop yourself. Do I really need one more box of pasta when I know I've got 15 in the pantry?
Oh God.
Just be aware and give yourself permission to tell yourself no.
Oh,
No, I'm not going to this month.
I love that. And that is spot on for me because I've been feeling this energy already. And shopping is a thing for me. And it is almost verbatim. Do I need, and I buy pasta, do I need one more box of pasta? Am I hoarding it? What do I think? Why am I doing that? Why? Because it's 2 for 1. That means, do I have to buy it because it's 2 for 1? Or I'm in there and I'm saying, oh, I might use this pasta. I like this type of pasta for. No. And that's the word I've been hearing is no, scale down. Just scale down. You don't need any more stuff.
Right.
You really don't. There's no need. There is more of a need for you, for me, to to focus more on all of these incredible changes that are coming and how can I be of support and help to others. That's where I want to put more of my energy right now. That's where I want it because I think it's really vital, essential, no fooling around. It's serious. So I totally get, and I'm totally in alignment with what you just said. And what's interesting about it is I had those same feelings about the shopping. So,
well, and maybe it's a time really to allow yourself to see yourself differently.
yes.
So, and I think that's an important piece of that mental change of I'm not going to go to the store on Friday, even though I always go on Friday and stock up for the week. I'm going to see myself differently. And maybe instead of adding more pasta to your pantry, you go to your pantry and say, what can I let go of that I can take to the food bank and help somebody else out with? Because I know eventually over time, this is all just going to expire in my pantry. So let me help somebody else out in the
Correct.
meantime.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. It's a good time. And spring, with the vernal equinox coming, that gives us incentive to clean out, and in one of my workshops, I do a piece that is called, it's a mental clean up and clear out. And part of that workshop is about, what correspondence do you need to take care of? What do you need to clean up in your car? What do you need to clean up in your house? What do you need to clean up in your mind? What old ideas are no longer working? And what you mentioned about Friday, normally Friday is your day to go shopping. Well, make it a different day, perhaps, too, besides doing something wonderful like donating it to a food bank. Change things up. Your brain, this is not just how we operate is not just emotional, physiological. There's physiological stuff that goes on in our brain when we create a habit. And when you're in a habitual way of doing things, there is no room to grow, to experience growth and progress because you're doing what's the definition of insanity, right? We hear that over and over again, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. If you want different results, change the way you do things. You may not believe that there's a correlation between using your left or your right hand, whatever the opposite hand is, and brushing your teeth, but it's setting up this this ground, this fertile ground, to let your mind know, let your brain know, hey, we're doing things differently now. Okay. Or there's a new sheriff in town, whatever it is, we're doing things differently. So you have to prime your brain, prime your mind, and things will change in a positive way when you start doing that.
Very so interesting. What just came to my mind, my sister and I have a really bad habit. I'll almost go with addiction, with brown bubbly soda.
Oh, okay.
Of the diet kind. I'm not going to say.
Oh my God, that's my son-in-law. It's the same thing.
Yep. And so she told me the other day, out of the blue, she said, I'm on day 8. I have not had any of the brown bubbly soda in 8 days. And it was like, what? Why are you doing that? And it was just, I don't want it to control me anymore. I want to be free of this. And that's very much what we're talking about, is allowing yourself to see yourself a different way.
Yes.
And the expansion that can come in when you willingly let go of those things that feel like they've got some control over you.
Yes. And anything that we do habitually has control over us. It's interesting that you said about that brown bubbly stuff, because a woman came to me, and because, I'm a hypnotherapist, and she said, I'm addicted to Coke. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, no, the kind that you drank. And I said, okay. So she said, I've been addicted to it for, I don't know, 20 odd years. And do you think hypnotherapy will work? And I said, well, hypnotherapy works on just about anything. However, I don't know. I don't know how you'll respond to it. Sometimes you need 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 sessions. And so we did a session. And when I do hypnotherapy, I don't use a standard script, because I don't find that it has to be tailored to that person, their likes, their dislikes. And that's a whole nother story. But at any rate, so I did a hypnotherapy session on her, and it was just one session. And to this day, and I guess it's been almost 2 years, she hasn't picked up so keep that in your mind. So,
yep.
So, yeah. So and she's so much happier now. She feels free. And that is the huge benefit from getting rid of these habitual things that we do. You have a sense of more control over your life, and you're free. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up as well, because that's very important for people to look at. What are the things that you are addicted to? Addiction isn't just about drugs.
Right.
And alcohol is considered a drug as well. Addiction isn't just about that, or sex. Addiction is anything that you can't stop. It's pretty much an addiction.
Yeah. Well, Michele,
gosh, we covered a lot of ground today, didn't we?
We did. But thank you for this, and bring on March. Yeah.
You're ready?
I am very ready. Apparently I've already been there, and I'm living in the future right now. So it's all good. It's all good. So Michele, thank you so very much. Would you let folks know if they wanted to set up a private session with you or get their numbers done, how can they reach out to you?
Sure. It's my name, Michele Landers, Michele with 1 L. michellelanders.com, and on my website you can schedule a 15-minute free consultation with me to discuss really whatever you want. Besides, it could be coaching, it could be hypnotherapy, it could be the numbers, numerology, whatever you want. And certainly explore my website and see it. You know, a chart is a wonderful thing to have for the year because it's kind of like a map for you to navigate in an easier way instead of struggling. So, and if you do sign up for my newsletter, guess what? Every month you will be able to configure your personal month and then just match that month to my descriptions for that year that you're in and that month you're in. And I lay it out. It's really, really easy. So you get that free every month.
Yeah, that's
So
excellent.
thank you.
Yeah, and her newsletters are really, really well written, very
Oh, thank
high
you.
quality. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so friends, thanks for being here for this new look at March 2023. And we look forward to seeing you here for April next month. So take good care. God bless. We'll see you soon. Bye now.